Good morning and welcome to our market insight. You guys, we're done with February. Can you believe it?
It went by quick.
We've got the whole Hacking Company real estate team here. Great to see you guys. We're coming out of Remax River City in Edmonton, and we're going to decode a little bit about the market statistics package, right? They bring us stats at the end of each month, and we kind of go through them. But before we kind of get into that, maybe you could let us know a little bit about what your February was like and introduce yourselves. Let's start off with Craig Bentley. How you doing, Craig?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, Taylor?
I'm doing very well.
Good.
How's your February, man?
February was really good here. We had a good stretch of warm weather and people were out and about shopping. A lot of listings were coming to the market as well. So we kind of thought spring was coming early, but now when you look outside, it's negative 17. It looks like we're back into winter a little bit.
It did suddenly get cold, right? That's always something that we see like affecting our traffic on listings and different things like that. You see these cold snaps and all of a sudden everybody's like, let's stay in our houses for a little bit. But we also know a lot of people that are using that time to prep their houses. How did you feel about your February there, Craig?
I felt fantastic. Both my buyer and seller clients had great experiences. So February, even though it was only 28 days, was really good for me.
Yeah. And like your last couple of listings didn't even make it the weekend, did they?
No opening day offers on both. So they went really quick.
So that's interesting from the perspective of people that are actually in the market. Cordell, how was your February?
My February was pretty good too. I was out with a couple of buyer clients and also trying to talk to a seller client about the importance of pricing accordingly so that we could have a similar experience to what Craig was just talking about.
Yeah, that's something that's kind of a little bit of a challenge, right? I still haven't met anybody who doesn't like money.
Yep.
It's tough to resist not just asking for the moon, right? What do you feel as though happens to those listings?
Honestly, they don't get as much interest right when they come on the market as maybe they should. And then they just end up racking up days on market. And then before you know it, you're on the 9th page of Realtor.ca. And then there's nothing you can really do about it, even if you are reducing price. Someone's always going to be coming looking for the deal if you're on the market, 40, 50, 60 days.
And I definitely hear that as well. I feel as though like a lot of the time when properties are on the market for an extended period, people don't really understand how that affects them. They don't realize that they're losing relevance and that if you've gone like 60 days without a price change, the likelihood you actually get an offer is in the single digits of percentage. Isn't that wild? Because like all the other listings just steal your shine. Amy Brown.
Hello.
So what do you think about your February?
I thought I had a fantastic February and nice and well-rounded, all different kinds of product types.
Oh, yeah?
I had an acreage, a single family, a townhouse, and a condo all go solid in February.
Wait a second. You were saying that with your acreage, now this is like a notable sale.
Yes.
Which price point were you at there?
$1,250,000, which came close to the high roller for this month.
Isn't that crazy? And how much money did you leave on the table there?
$0. We sold it list.
Wait a second. 100% list price and luxury?
Yep.
Well, that's definitely something a lot of luxury owners would love to hear because it's tough when you have like a less defined market. So that's something that's awesome. And what was your experience of the market? Do you find it to be like, was there anything you considered notable?
I am finding the market very busy, very steady. When I look at the numbers on the stats, I feel a little bit confused because that is not the experience that I'm having.
Isn't it crazy? It's a total jungle out there. And different parts of the jungle are active at different times. It's almost like migratory routes. Like we're getting ready for the largest migration. You remember seeing all those National Geographic shows where they'd see like all of the gazelles or all of the caribou and they line up into these massive like 2,000 member herds and they migrate? That's what the spring is for families with kids in real estate. It is the largest massive movement. It happens every year. And well, right now we're talking at the beginning of March. And we're less than 10 days in front of what I kind of mark as the spring market. So if we say that, the number one possession day is June 30th, and we wind it back and say, when did that action happen? Really, a lot of it's right around April 30th. And so 45 days on either side of that is the playoffs of real estate. It's so crazy. So it's going to be interesting as we run into that season. And would you say that you're feeling as though this season is going to be notable? Is it going to be ho-hum? What do you think?
Definitely not ho-hum. I'm finding it really quite busy, and I'm finding that there's a lot of people that need the guidance to know that not everything you see in the media is how things are. And if you choose the right person, they will get you to the right place.
I hear you there. Anthony D'Souza, how many houses did you sell in February?
Honestly, can't remember. I was trying to just think about that. And it was probably like 7 or 8, I think, in February, which was the best start to my year ever.
You've been just like throwing them up left, right, and center. And that's something that's got to be great. Also, you're helping a lot of people. And that's also got to feel good. What can you tell us about the market, given your cadence recently?
Yeah, I think I've seen a little bit of everything. Talking to a lot of people that think they're waiting till the spring because they feel prices are going to go down. And that has not been the case. I actually pulled a couple people off the fence that were planning on waiting and showing them how properties we viewed before, where they ended up, how they all sold for more money than they thought. And we were out again this weekend, and now they're back in the game. But you know what? I do feel like there's a lot of inventory out there, but a lot of it's getting passed over. You walk through these homes, they're not ready. They should not have been listed in the condition that they're in. And when we ask for feedback on our own listings, we're getting great reviews. Maybe it's not the right fit for a specific buyer, but the right buyer comes along and they're just excited, right? So I don't know, it was a great experience in February. It's definitely different than what you're hearing on the news. And our clients are quite happy to be moving on. Lots of them that were successful at selling and then buying a new property.
That's awesome. And thanks for sharing your insight. Also, congratulations to everybody. This was a record month for our team. I'm really interested to see how we stack up in the brokerage as we come to the end of February. I know that this team wants their title back. We're number one in the brokerage, and we're not a large team. We're by far not the largest team, but we want to be the most productive per agent because that's the proof that we help people. A lot of people think that real estate teams is like one person that can really do real estate and other people that they're friends with maybe. But in this real estate team, I can tell you that my teammates are amazing. There are people here that can do things that I can't do for sure through and through. And that's what makes it such a good collection. Now let's decode some of this information. So the question that we get asked all the time is, how's the market? Okay. Now I put together this graphic and I'm going to talk you through it here. Let's bring it up. So when we're taking a look at to explain this further, when the market is at balance, it's about 3.5 months of inventory. So that's the green area at the top. Now, when we go into a buyer's market, that normally means prices are starting to move downward. Sellers are competing for the available buyers. When it's pretty close to the green, like we see right now at 4.3 months of inventory, we're going to say it's pretty close to balance. And since it's trending to move warmer, it will actually feel warmer than it is. Mm-hmm. Now, if we were comparing to this time last year, we would have been well into the red. What was 2022 to give people context on when they're seeing year-over-year numbers? Was 2022 just like another year in real estate in Edmonton? What do you guys think was...
February 2022 was banging in Edmonton.
It was crazy. You had a listing that had 64 viewings on opening weekend, right?
Was that the one that got 11 offers?
Yeah.
12 offers?
Yep. We also see some teammates that were going against a dozen offers and winning, right? Mm-hmm. So that was something that was unheard of. And really, when we take a look at the statistics from last year to this year, I don't know if we should really call that a fair comparison, right? Coming out of COVID, there were so many things suppressed. 2022 was the first year. It was the tail of the dragon. It was right before interest rates were going up. So many people felt the need to get in, and good on you. If you locked in a 5-year fixed and snapped things up early last year, you were probably laughing. Now, when we see these year over year, we might want to compare to stuff like if we were talking February, 2019 to February was probably 2020 for February. Like, we didn't see many announcements until March, right? People were hearing of things, but normally housing is long-term plans. So I don't know how much that took away from the statistics. When we go back to like 2019, that was like a normal market, not a great market in Edmonton, but a fairly normal market. So now when we're seeing like a little bit of this right now, would you guys say this is normal this time of year or not normal this time of year?
I would definitely say it's normal, if not slightly on the better end of the spectrum. I've seen Februaries with 6-7 months worth of inventory. So sitting extremely close to a buyer's market heading into the spring market, we're looking really good here.
I totally agree. And I have to say, there's parts of our market that are really making me feel optimistic. So let's take a look into this, and maybe we could talk a little bit about the amount of time properties are spending on the market right now. And to give some context, like, here's the numbers. So we see that the average days on market for all residential was about 57 days in the greater Edmonton area, or about 2 months. Now, that is taking into consideration all the properties that have sold, but also the properties that didn't sell. So is this the amount of time it would take you to successfully sell your property? Well, how long was your last listing on the market? Craig, you didn't make it the weekend. Amy?
Didn't make it the weekend.
I got mine pending at just outside of 2 weeks. My most recent one. So like so now we're way under this. Tony?
My most recent one was about 3 weeks on the market.
Also under this. So we're seeing like, so this may not be an accurate representation of what your experience would be. It's an accurate representation of all experiences. And obviously you're doing a great job of showing your clients where the market is. And that's something that's key, especially when they all saw last year. Like, I don't know if this is your same experience, but I find that people remember the best thing that they heard about the value of their house. It doesn't matter if it was this year, last year, 2 years ago. Like, the best thing that they heard is where it kind of sticks. Now, all the property types are running a little bit different, and right now in the lead is these single-family detached properties. Would you say that, like, anybody here working with buyers for single-family right now? How would you describe the market from the buyer side?
It's tricky. Like, when you set up these searches for people, they're looking at, 50 plus listings in their search, depending on the price point. But a lot of stuff that's either, builder represented, and, when you read the fine print, they're actually not even built yet. These are pictures from previous houses that they built before. So not a lot of stuff that is something they can action on now, if they're thinking like a 60-day possession. But then some other stuff that we've been seeing for sale for a long time, some stuff over a year on the market. And, if we're willing enough or brave enough to go and see them, you can kind of tell why, right? Usually there's some challenges along the way. And so buyers are starting to get a little nervous when they see new properties hit their search. Even if it doesn't check off all their boxes, they're really wanting to go and see it because they know that there's going to be lots of interest there.
Yeah. I would totally agree. Anybody else have some perspective on that? What's it like?
The market quite tight. I'm finding that the searches that I'm doing aren't getting 50 or 60, but I'm very specific. So once I meet with my client and I know what they're looking for, I can help them narrow that down. And when something's coming on the market that's a maybe, you need to get out there and get out there quick and be serious and be ready. That's what I'm seeing.
Okay, so this is what it feels like to me each year, and let me know if you disagree. It feels like shopping at Winners. Like, you go into Winners, there's some good deals there. You just got to look, right? And because most of the stuff there is junk. And that's how I feel about the market this time of year. Most of the stuff on the market is junk. It's leftover stuff from the winter. Some of the stuff tried last spring and still hasn't found a way to be consistent with the marketplace. So when we see that stuff, that like when you're getting like 50 returns, like Tony was mentioning, how many of them are actually actually consistent with the market and real contenders? I'm seeing a lot of nods here. Is that you guys are feeling it too?
Hmm.
Anybody been shopping for condos recently?
Yeah.
I've been selling condos.
Well, and what do you think about the market from the seller's perspective then?
I think it's a great time to be selling a condo and that we've probably not had a better time.
Holy yeah. Now Cordell, you and I were talking about this recently, right? So we were
Yep.
seeing this apartment style condo number and it's at 65. So it's definitely like the slow go out of this group of different property types, but it's been changing. Right? Like we were looking at some stats a couple of weeks ago, and I was mentioning how notable it is that we're seeing 50% of condos in the same community sell 50% of what tried. Now I know some people find that's mind blowing. They think that all the for sale signs become sold signs. They don't realize that for condos there was like one buyer for like 6 sellers sometimes, and that really skewed the numbers. And now, like Cordell, what was that one last week? Was it 75%?
Yeah, it was something like 76% of all the condos in the last 12 months have sold. That's a really good sign.
3 out of 4?
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. I really think that that's something that is like that's probably the biggest news. I know that so many people, when they see statistics, they just don't care about condos. Like condos, like a lot of the people that are shopping for property as we come into this year are shopping for single family detached because it's families with kids for the most part. But the condo market is like a huge indicator. If that condo market starts to go wild here, it will be bananas. And if it was normal right now, if it was normal where we started to where we progressed, it would be hot as all get out right now. But it was super frozen. And
For
so
a
now
long time.
like, yeah, it's not even lukewarm yet. But the trend is exciting to me because if the $200,000 properties sell, then the $300,000 properties will get more buyers. More people will upgrade into them. And you'll see all these verticals that have been missing in our market since 2015. And we're sitting on all this potential. It's like fuel, right? Same thing that California does. California doesn't do, they want everybody to stay out of the forest. There's so many rules. So the fuel just piles up on the land. All the deadfalls don't get hauled away. Nothing can go in there. So essentially fires happen. And I think that in the same vein, the fire in Alberta might just happen. So tell me what you think when we come into the sales this month, because I think that this was probably the most notable news. Is what people were focused on was year over year down 43% in sales. So that means that we've got an awful market, right?
No. And this isn't something that has me worried. When you read the headline, it's like, what? But if you know what was happening in February of last year, this is not worrisome.
And honestly, when we see like current month and we rewind back to like 2019, 2018, it's very different. Like total residential numbers, we see in the current month, last year was the notable of the 5. But let's say that this happened to be 2020, but there was no COVID. We were just coming from 2019 into 2020 right now. Well, last year would have been 990 sales in February. If last year was 2020, and I think that in February of 2020, there still wasn't a big COVID effect in Edmonton, Alberta, and we would have seen that 1,067 properties sold. And so 1,291 would look great. Then we see the COVID effect. So 1,635, 2,200 last year, and now it's 1,291 like you see here on your screen. So very different, but not the news that we see when we say year over year. You have to consider that last year was an outlier. Now, when we, on the other side, new listings, I know that there's a few teammates right now that are prepping new listings. Cordell, you've got one coming up. I think that we've got pictures on for Amy and Craig this week.
Yeah, Friday. Mm-hmm.
So these are some things that are we're putting up more listings. When you're pulling your comparables, how does this look? Do you guys see a bunch of new listings that you're competing with?
Yeah, some areas. I've got a townhouse. I've got a townhouse condo coming up where there's 1 pending, 0 active, and everything that was listed sold in the last 12 months. So those sellers are super excited.
You just found a condo that was 100% a sale?
Yeah.
Wow. That's something that I haven't seen in years and years, and I'm like a dinosaur. So that's pretty amazing. The Now I just went pending in Summerside, and again, taking a look at the competitive reports, I felt like Summerside's really lacking inventory right now. Like those 2 stories that are really good, like we putting the listing on, calling our clients to the market right now, it was really good timing because there were buyers. Like our showings on that were great. I think that we had what we would have historically seen as like 8 weeks of traffic in 2 weeks. So that's this time of year, there is still a shortage of great inventory, and it was showing over there in Summerside as well. Anybody else have a similar experience?
With what you just said there, I've spoken to a lot of agents over the past 60 days and consistently hearing lack of inventory. But you nailed it on the head, lack of good inventory. We still have a lot of stuff kicking around that isn't so great, but realtors all over the place feel like there is a lack of good properties on the market right now.
Yeah, well, like you brought a great property to the market in Keswick there, right? And you saw a great response. Amy, that acreage that you listed was stellar. And again, a great response.
Mm-hmm.
Tony doesn't even remember his listings. They're just gone. He's doing them by half a dozen right now. Do you have any listings that were like that, Tony?
Definitely have some good experiences with listings. We had a great bungalow in St. Albert that did pretty well, and we're excited to bring another one to the market at the end of April. So it's just, it's really good preparation that our team does. Right. And then we bring it to the market and we're ready. We're not trying to sort this out, while we're also trying to balance showings. Our sellers are prepared. They know what to expect. And then it's great when we can execute on that.
Well, we just do it the regular way, right? Like we show up there, we take pictures with our phone. We'll get you listed by tomorrow, right? And whatever price you choose.
I was honestly shocked to see how many people use pictures that are not professional. Shocked.
Well, I have to say that like the level of noise on the internet is what we're always trying to battle against. And like we have taken great pains over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of listings to stand out. So being that way, like getting picked off the list of Realtor.ca, a lot of people don't even understand that that's where the game is. That if your lead photo can get more attention than the rest in that lineup, you're going to win. Right? Like they don't see it yet. And we actually run full previews. I don't know if you feel the same way I do, but I don't think that many people would attend the movies if there were no previews. And I cannot believe that people are putting up the listings, great listings to the market with no coming soon. Like Amy, opening day on your acreage, when was the first showing?
First thing in the morning. Like they tried to get it the day before and we were like, no, you got to wait your turn. So yeah, first thing in the morning, the minute they could go in, they were there.
So how many listings actually normally get showings on day 0 on their first day to the market?
Ours? Just kidding.
That's a good answer, but very few. And the reason is because nobody knows about it. Like on day 0 is your best chance to get the most money, full stop. And your day 0 is like if your realtor's launching things in the middle of the afternoon, your day 0 is people connecting with their clients and trying to plan for like another day. Whereas when you have a coming soon rollout and you're refusing people that want to come early, like the difference in your outcome is massive. Now, talking about inventory, you guys are saying that there's not inventory in the markets. This is what the public's seeing. They're seeing 5,600 available options for sale. So that means if I'm looking for that great 2-story with a triple car garage, I have 5,600 choices, right?
That'd be nice.
Cordell, I hear a big sigh down there. What happens once we put all my criteria into the Paragon system? Am I still getting 600 options?
You said a triple car garage 2-story?
Yeah.
That 5,600 goes down to 18.
Triples aren't easy to find. Big lots, right? And so that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is that when we're talking about inventory, we're talking about a lot of condos, we're talking about a lot of properties that you don't want. But when we actually lead our clients through that blueprint meeting that we do and show them how many are available, but also how often this stuff normally shows up, that totally changes their ability to make decisions because like, just like we were saying, the majority of stuff is like this aging inventory coming over the winter. But let's talk about those high rollers. Amy, you were saying about this a little bit previously, and these are the numbers that the Realtors Association released. So you were at 1.25, and the record in the Greater Edmonton area last month was 1.322.
I got to do it this month now.
Let's do it. We also see like a $715,000 semi-detached. Cordell, what's a semi-detached?
Semi-detached would be considered a duplex where you have one shared wall down the middle, but no one on either side of either of the properties.
Okay, because if you put a third one into a duplex, it changes its category.
Yeah, it's considered a row.
All right, so that's a $715,000 duplex. These ones are normally at $715,000. I would expect something either like in Oliver or one of those 55 plus duplexes out in the Southwest, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking Windermere.
Mm. What about the townhouse that was $588,000? Are we betting row house or townhouse on that one? I have to say that I think that row housing is pretty new here, and I haven't seen any higher class row housing. Have you guys?
Very few, but if it's a townhouse, I'd love to know what the condo fee was on it.
That's a good point. And 1.3 million apartment style condo. So the actually, I think Cordell, you might be going to see some stuff in this price range this week, hey?
Penthouses in downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I've got a good one coming up for you.
Oh, we may have a match. That's awesome. And that's actually another thing that a lot of people don't see from the outside is how well you guys pass and play as a team. There's lots of information that kind of trades in here. I'm going to run through some pricing and let's give this stuff some comments. So when you see that the all residential pricing is average $369,000 and the median is $357, does that speak to you guys in any way?
Just tells me that there's more townhouses, row houses, and condos that are selling at this time of year. We definitely see a lot of single family people coming to the market, but again, some of them are just holding off for a little bit of nicer weather because we know single family homes are definitely selling well above $369.
That's true, right? Let's take a look. These are the detached ones, right? So we're averaging at about $460,000 right now, and that's up year over year. Up month over month, but down year over year. So is this what you were saying previously where last year was like an anomaly? And coming out of COVID, everybody wanted single detached. Like condos were the least popular thing in the pandemic. Shared walls, you know? So when you're bringing properties to the market right now, talking to sellers, are those sellers optimistic? Are they nervous?
They're fairly optimistic, I feel. Especially most of them have been watching what's happening around them and they're seeing, successful sales in their neighborhood. And then we can kind of, unpack that for them and show them how long they took to sell. Did they make any changes? Talk to them about what experience they're looking for, right? Everybody wants all the money, but trying to be reasonable and, do it in a reasonable amount of time is what's really most important for them.
Let's unpack that for a quick second. Most people want all the money. What mistakes are they making?
Well, sometimes sellers think if I list higher, then there's more room to negotiate, right? Or if I list higher, I get more money. And oftentimes it just results in less showings, no offers, horrible experience. They think the market's horrible.
Come along with me on this. So you're telling me that if I want more money, ask more, get more, ask less, get less, and you disagree?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't price yourself accurately, then you're going to have a rough time. And I often think about a house in Sherwood Park last year that was listed on the wrong board, and that experience probably would have been horrible for them. Right? They probably seen 100 for sale signs that sold around them because they just weren't available to the most people in this marketplace. And that's what I feel like for these sellers that are overpriced, and nobody's telling them, like no price changes, nothing. And if you were to ask them candidly, I'm sure they say this market's not great. Meanwhile, all their neighbors are having good success, and they're, it's just a different perspective. That's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I think that group is like largely uninformed. Would you guys think the same?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I almost feel like it's like they maybe have something on their face and nobody will tell them. Is like, hey, you're way overpriced, right? Like the market can't even see you, right? Some people don't realize that when you price over by 10%, it looks like you just walked into a party not wearing pants. Right? Like to professionals, we look at that, we can tell you're overpriced like right now. In fact, what you're doing the most effectively by being overpriced is selling our listings. You are the comparison. You are the price anchor. They walk through your property at 550, they walk through the one that we appropriately listed at 500, and you sell our house. So I think that that's something that more people should know is that what uninformed looks like. Buyers that are uninformed make lower offers, and they often don't come to an agreement and then keep shopping. Whereas sellers that are uninformed set higher list prices, and they end up with the same outcome, which is they sit and wait. And they might think that, like, well, I've heard this before. Craig, what do you think? Like, if I don't like what the market has, I should just wait, right?
That's what a lot of people think, but that's not necessarily the case. So when we have our buyer property blueprint meeting, we kind of show people how often the types of homes that they like become available at the price they want to pay. And sometimes it's a surprisingly low number. They might only have 2 opportunities a month to get the type of home they're looking for. And there's very likely another family looking for that exact same home. So you just can't endlessly wait, unfortunately.
I would agree. And on the seller side, I think that there's a lot of people that think, well, if nobody wants to give me the money I want, I'm just going to hold out. And I don't see offers going up as you spend more time on the market. Do you guys? Me neither. Now, these guys were the dark horse of the pandemic. This was semi-detached as these duplexes, and year over year, they are down. But month over month, they are up. What do you guys see? Anybody been working with duplexes recently?
This to me still looks strong considering how strong it was in February of last year to be down 0.6%. That's super strong.
That's some great insight. I would agree. Yeah, like when we wind back to the, because what you're saying is when we went back to the all residential, it's supposed to be down 13%, but that did affect detached, not these.
Not even 1%.
Yeah, these half duplexes are super resistant. And then we move over to the row townhouse, and this is where it really moved. Okay, down 4.3%. But those residential attached seem to still be getting a lot of action. I know that we've got one coming in Windermere, and basically the comps look great. All right, I think that we've got almost it. This is the price index. So this is something the Realtors Association of Edmonton releases just to give you to you all in one view. What's moving up? What's moving down? Just in case you're running through the rest of the statistics here. And then the only other thing I have is the total overview. Let me pull that up for a second, but I want some bold predictions. We're going to be closing the show here right away. When you guys are taking a look into the next month, we're going to be meeting again, just like we do, giving people insight into March as we go into April. What are your predictions for March?
I think it's going to heat up. I think that it's the time of year now where most people think you should start listing your home. So I think we're going to see some great inventory, and we're also going to start to see some more buyers that are thinking, okay, the weather's going to warm up here. Let's get in action. So I'm excited.
I think you're right. I think we are going to have a hot March. I think this is a regular thing for Edmonton. Everybody wants to list March, April, May, which means that if they're going to list, they need to be out there usually looking for what they're looking for as well. So I think I think we're all going to be super busy.
I believe we're going to stay in a buyer's market here, but it's definitely going to be heavy paced. As Anthony said, we're going to see more and more inventory hitting the market, some great listings, and some buyers are going to snatch them up right away.
Cordell?
Honestly, I agree with what everybody said. This is going to be my first spring season as a realtor. So I'm pretty excited about your guys' predictions because I'm hoping I have the same experience.
Well, I have to say that like all of us are watching you as well. We all we have some pretty high flying rookies here as people are coming through and taking a look at how you're coming across. Like, even though you're saying this is your spring season, like you've been on dozens of appointments. You've been on hundreds, well, thousands of phone calls. You've shadowed some of the top teammates of any team. Like, there's some real talent on this team, and we're excited. There's definitely some things that we see that you are going to bring to our team, and we appreciate it. But that's the same for all of you. Everybody here has very specific set of skills, and we want everyone to know that there is a great fit for everyone here. So if you're looking for something specific, if you want to build and want some help, we got people that can help you. If you're looking to make that flip, that fix and flip, you're looking for something you could do some construction to, we also have some people that have a real deep understanding of construction. Craig doesn't like to tote this, but the guy has has completed his home inspector's course just so that he can spot things. He doesn't do inspections. He just wanted to know. Isn't that incredible? And then we also see some teammates like Anthony D'Souza, who's rolling in towards their 200th transaction.
Whoa.
So when you're talking about experience, the average agent does 6 properties per year. Okay. So we're talking about maybe 12 ends. So 12 times representing a buyer or a seller. And everyone here did better than that last year. Everybody here is moving much more towards being able to help people at that real elite level. And we're getting great response. Like one of the highest rated and reviewed real estate teams in the greater Edmonton area. And that's because of how you guys take care of people. So we really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you'd like anybody to know before we close?
If you have a renovated bungalow, please list it.
Tony needs a renovated bungalow. Does anybody else have a need? Where do you need that renovated bungalow to happen, Tony?
St. Albert or in the West End.
St. Albert or West. Amy, got anything on your wish list?
I'm hoping for a 2-story, over 2,600 square feet with a decent sized garage backing south.
Okay.
In Southwest Edmonton.
Southwest. Gotcha. So Windermere, Ambleside, places like that?
Yeah.
All right. Craig?
I'm hanging out in Tony's neighborhood here, St. Albert, detached single-family home with an oversized garage between the 650, 750 price range, over 2,000 square feet.
Okay. Cordell?
We would really love a triple car garage home in Spruce Grove, probably over 2,500 square feet. That's just well maintained. I think that's our biggest issue is there's available properties, but there's a lot of work needed to them.
Move in ready, right?
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for years. Move in ready is so powerful right now. There's a lot of people that are still gun shy after all the increases in construction and supply chain. Like it can be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
For myself, the one thing that I would want more people to know is get to the market. Like if you are selling your house, every day that you can kind of pull that in is going to turn out better. The majority of your competition is still like 3 weeks to a month away. And if you can get to the market before then, you are going to get a great reception if you are on the button, if you are well informed and accurate. Any disagreements there?
No.
Okay, well, we all got clients to take care of, so let's get the heck out of here. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing a little bit about your experience as we unpack some of the information from the Realtors Association of Edmonton. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you, and we will see you soon. Cheers.
See ya.
Bye, guys.